The cutting is so specified to this time period, you will recognize it immediately.
If you're trying to sell some stolen diamonds, you may not get them into the legal market. But what about that other market?
You are probably the biggest barrier to these thieves getting these jewels into the diamond system.
Yes, I think so.
Ina Tassignon works for the Antwerp World Diamond Centre. Their job is to monitor the legal market while also keeping an eye out for stones coming in through the black market.
Some of them have a very bad reputation, let's say, in terms of money laundering, the laundering of several goods like jewels, like diamonds, and so on. So if they end up in Antwerp, it will be most likely there.
But if they were to be stripped down, if each individual diamond was sold,
by dismantling them, you lose a very large part of the value, of course, because it's the value lies also in the fact that these are historic pieces. But when you just take off these diamonds from, let's say, the tiara, and you want to re-put them in a ring, then you can very easily do it.
it's like taking a Ferrari and stripping it for parts.
Yes.
So, Antwerp might not be the place, but are there other routes to market?
Let's say those diamonds were taken and they made their way to Dubai or to Israel.
They get repolished there, they get certificated there. Then, of course, these are, you can easily make
So
them
then you
clean.
wouldn't know here.
Then we wouldn't know.
It's amazing to think that someone could just come here to buy their engagement ring in 2 years, 5 years, and they could unwittingly have a jewel on their ring which was one of the French crown jewels.
It's crazy, but indeed, that is a possibility.
You're watching America's #1 streaming news. Live reporting, breaking new exclusives. Keep streaming with ABC News Live.
In a sleepy suburb outside Boston, a veteran art thief holds court with an unusual collection of friends. This is the part of our movie where we meet the robbers, and Miles Connor is a king among them, proclaimed by some as the world's greatest art thief.
I don't think there's been anybody else that's done all that I've done in regards to robbing museums.
In the greatest art thief's court, Anthony Amore, director of security at the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, still the site of the biggest art theft in history, and author of the book The Rembrandt Heist, all about Miles.
Nobody in history, and I can tell you this definitively, has ever stolen as many high-value things with as much success. Nobody has ever even come close to Miles.
And Alda Toley, a friend of Miles, who in the past got him out of a bind by giving back his stolen art.
I did not say, hey, Miles, let me get this painting back. It was like, hey, Miles, I know I have to be the one. If I'm doing it, it has to be done now.
They're gathered here to talk about the Louvre and for an insider's view into the mind of a thief.
It's a feeling of intense satisfaction when you're in the basement of a museum and they don't know you're there. It's like a kid in a candy store.
Miles says he stole his first piece when he was 19, and in the years since has amassed a laundry list of court dates and prison stints for theft.
Oh, my first painting. I just took it because it was pretty.
But it wasn't just paintings that he took. He took scores of Chinese antiquities, vases, a very valuable silver plate that had come from Ireland, dozens and dozens and dozens of pieces.
But his biggest score would go into the history books. In 1975, Miles Connor walked into the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston and walked out with a Rembrandt, valued at $500,000 then. Today, Rembrandts sell for tens of millions of dollars. He stole the painting to use as a bargaining chip to get out of another charge.
A friend of mine was a major in the state police. He said, it'll take a Rembrandt for you to get out of this. And that was why I took the Rembrandt. It was with the intention of returning it in return for a reduced sentence and, of course, a cash reward, both of which I got.
There were multiple Rembrandts at the MFA at the time, but the one that Miles stole was particularly important in his body of work, and later sold at auction as the most valuable Dutch master painting in history at the time. So I like to say that in this evil deed, he chose really well.
Miles says the planning took 2 months, and it was that very friend, Al, who ultimately returned the painting to authorities.
There's nothing from start to finish quite like what these two pulled off, sort of the alpha and the omega of a heist. Would you have thought the Louvre was too big a challenge for you?
Not in the way that they did it. That was an ingenious method. Do I think they were bungling fools? No, by no means. They were pretty sharp burglars.
There's been speculation that the gang that stole those French crown jewels is planning to break them up and sell them. But Miles says he would be shocked if they were dismantled.
You know, I think right now they're in the hands of whomever hired these thieves.
The fact that there have been a number of arrests and no reward offered tells me that the authorities feel that they're close to recovering the items.
Like Bob Whitman in the world. Whitman served in the FBI for decades and founded their famed art crime team for private art thefts.
I've recovered more than 300 million of stolen art and cultural property, everything from Rembrandts to Monets to Renoirs to sculptures to prints. At one point, I recovered Geronimo's war bonnet, worth over $1 million. I recovered one of the original copies of the Bill of Rights.
His home, a treasure trove of memories.
In 2001, we were able to recover these all in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. So this was the largest recovery in history of stolen Norman Rockwells at one time, valued at over $1 million.
And here at the Penn Museum in Philadelphia,
this is the Asian Rotunda. It's a beautiful room.
One of the largest crystal balls in the world from China, now back home thanks to Bob and his team.
This ball was found missing in 1989, and it took us 2 years to recover it. It was in a woman's house in Trenton, New Jersey. It was in her bedroom on a dresser.
What are his tips for tracking down art thieves?
There's many different undercover techniques that are used. First, you have to infatuate before you can infiltrate. Befriend and betray before they'll do, criminal business with you.
What you're about to see is rarely ever meant to be seen. This is Bob Whitman, but not as Bob Whitman. He's undercover.
One of the most important cases I worked on was a theft from the Swedish National Museum in Stockholm. In the year 2000, on December 23rd, 3 individuals went in around 5 o'clock in the evening. It was dark, it was cold. These guys had machine guns. And they went in and they put everybody on the floor. And they stole 3 artworks, 2 by Renoir and a Rembrandt self-portrait. Total value of the heist at that point was $42 million.
Years later, Whitman was working on an FBI investigation into a Bulgarian drug dealer who had some unique information.
Turns out he knew where the Rembrandt was. And more importantly, he could introduce an undercover agent to go in and buy the Rembrandt. That's how we got the lead. So I was the undercover agent acting as an authenticator for the Russian mob. And I was going to offer $250,000 in cash for the painting. They wanted to see all the cash, and they played it out on a bed to make sure it was real. Finally, I said, go get the Rembrandt. One guy was outside. He had a bag, and inside the bag was a square object the size of the Rembrandt. And in fact, the Swedish police asked me, do you want us to arrest them right now? I said, no, just wait and see what happens. The bag was just a decoy. So had they been arrested or stopped, they would have
multiple murders. These charges carry a maximum sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole or the death penalty.
sure about that?
Yes, I am. Mid-air homicide? I will work this case for free. I don't mean that. That's just something people say.
Synonymous with Hollywood at this point and has been for decades. He's the son of the icon Carl Reiner. Their stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame are right next to each other.
Rob Reiner was really kind of born into storytelling. His father famously created the Dick Van Dyke Show.
The Dick Van Dyke Show. Starring Dick Van Dyke.
Rob actually lived as a kid in New Rochelle. And anybody who knows anything about the Dick Van Dyke Show knows that Rob and Lori Petrie live in New Rochelle. His father was the host of the show within the show.
Well, hear me out, Ellen. You're impatient.
I'm not impatient, and your time is up.
You have the impatience of genius.
Go ahead, finish your thought.
From the time we met, we saw comedy and what was funny eye to eye. He was the great human being. I think he was probably the best human being as a father and a husband and as a producer and writer. He was perfect. God, we got along so well. It was 5 years of looking forward to coming to work in the morning.
Carl Reiner is a superstar all in his own right. Carl Reiner, we begin with in the writer's room of your show of shows. The #1 show in the nation, show. A sketch show, a variety show with the greatest writers. Mel Brooks, Woody Allen, Neil Simon, and Carl Reiner writing these fantastic sketches.
One of his most famous routines is A 2,000-Year-Old Man, where Carl Reiner is a straight man interviewing Mel Brooks, who is a man who claims